Hey guys, welcome back to my channel SAP with IK. Hope you're all doing good. So today's topic will be on the reporting side of the production planning module. So we'll take a detailed look on what transactions and what reports are readily available as part of the standard SAP system, and how can you use the data in order to achieve the output formats of each report according to your requirement. So let's get started. So for the production planning reporting, it could be the process manufacturing or it could be a discrete manufacturing industry. So we typically use two reports. One is COOIS. This is the transaction of the report. So the COOIS report, it's basically used to track the details of the production orders and also the planned orders corresponding to the discrete manufacturing scenario. In the same way, for process manufacturing, we use another transaction, COOIS PI. So PI is basically for the process industry. So here you will get the details of the production reports and also the planned orders related to the process industry. Okay, so here the transactions are different, but the application and also the level of output that we get out of these reports are pretty much the same, but it differs with what category of orders are you using, if it is a production order or a process order. So now let's take an example, or let's get into more details of the discrete manufacturing reporting in COOIS. So this report can be executed at various selection options, something like the production orders, material code, and also the production plant. So basically the manufacturing plant in which the production orders are typically created, and also the order type, MRP controller, so on and so forth, right? So if you just scroll down, you can also uh, provide the details at the operation level. So if you need some kind of reporting specific to any work center or a plant, so you also can assign those details along with the system status that you want to see at the operation level. In the same way, you have it for the component level, and also the dates for the header level at the production order related to the basic dates and the schedule dates, and the relative dates of the basic start date and the basic end date along with the scheduled and also the actual start dates. So on the very top, you have these options like the list, which shows you the kind of reporting that you will see in the output of this uh, transaction. So here, if I go with order headers, you will see a different set of reporting. So it gives you an overall view of the production orders associated to the material or the selection criteria that you have provided in this selection screen. In the same way, it applies for items, capacities, components, operations, or the production order operation confirmations, and also related to the goods movements. If you have anything related with the COGI transactions, if you have something errors that got stuck up in COGI, so even for that you can use these options under the list. And then you have this layout. This layout basically talks about the format or the specific field list that you would like to see in the output of the report. So let me run this wide open at the production plant. I'll take 1000 as an example here, which is my manufacturing plant. And I would like to go with the selection of my order type. So let's say I use PP01 as the production order type here, and also the system status. So if I want to see only the list of production orders that are with the status of created, then I choose this status as CRTD. And if I want to see only the orders with the status released, then I use this status REL. In the same way, if you like to see only the orders that are confirmed or partially confirmed, then those corresponding statuses can be selected. So for now, I will go with the selection of released orders. So just double click on REL and then execute. So in the output of this report, you will see only the status which are having with the status as REL, released. So let's say you would like to create a kind of a report that gives you an overview of the WIP. I mean to say the work in process. Work in process, it basically refers to something that is released but not yet completed. So how do we know that whether this order is completed or not? So that depends on the status of the order again. If you look at this order, for example, we have the status as DLV, which means that the order has been completed and the goods receipt is also performed. You can see the total quantity and then the delivered quantity. So here the status is showing as delivered. So this order cannot be treated as a work in progress, right? So the manufacturing is completed. So if I have to exclude this order out of this report, what I have to do is go back to the initial screen and then choose your system status. So here we have two options. One is to select release, and then the second status is to exclude the orders with the status as delivered. So I choose DLV and then check this option of exclude the orders with DLV status. So now the output should be with the orders of status release and not delivered, right? So execute. So here you can see that you only see these orders which are with the status of released. And so these orders can be treated as the WIP orders. So either the confirmation might have been posted. As you can see here, we have the status as CNF. So the confirmation is posted, but the goods receipt is not yet updated or posted on this production order, right? So the same way, there are no activities in this particular order. You don't see any confirmation posted, right? And here you could see we have a goods movement posted with GMPS status. It means that the raw materials have been consumed against this order, but the operation confirmation is not yet posted. Okay. And now, so here we have this predefined list of columns that you can see here, starting with the order, material number, the order type, MRP controller, and so on and so forth. So if you'd like to create your own layout, then expand this option. Let me just deselect this. Okay. So expand this particular option by clicking on this icon so that you will see uh, various other options. So go to the change layout. And here I would like to, let's say I don't want the details of the category. So just pull it to the right side. So the left side fields that you see here is what we see on the screen right now, the displayed columns, and on the column set which are basically available in the background, and you also can pull it as you want to see in the display section. So let's say I don't want to see this message type. Let me just deselect this. Okay, so I don't want the details of the production supervisor, so just move it to the right, and I don't want to see the status of, the details of the production version, just move it there. And then let's say you would like to see the details of let's say the date of manufacture, so pull it to the left side. And again you would like to see let's say the factory calendar ID, so you can pull it over here. And then the order category, I want it to be part of the display, and also the MRP area. And then I also want to see let me pick one more field, let's say the scheduled start date. Okay, and this is my desired layout. So here every time you want to run this report, you only want to see the output in this particular layout. Okay, so let me just adopt this change so that you can see the new fields that we have added. This is my required layout. So every time you log into this report, you always want to have this particular layout as default. So for that reason, you can actually go to this change layout option and then click on save layout. So here you can type your own layout that you would like to have it as default. So usually the standard layouts, if it is not a user specific layout, so they do not start with a slash indicator. So this layout, as you can see here, we do not have a prefix of the /. It means that this is a standard layout but not a user defined layout. So let's say I would like to have this as default. Let's say as the demo underscore user. This is my layout, and then I type in the description, and I would like to mark it as default. Now click on continue. So you see this message provided by SAP saying that the standard layouts must start with the special character with the /. So here it is not a standard layout, right? This is a custom layout. So now I put the slash indicator, and this is not a custom layout. I mean to say, this is not a user specific layout. So I have not checked this out, the user specific indicator. But in case you would like to have this as a user specific, it means that only the user who has created this particular report or the layout can only see this particular or maybe use this particular layout. In that case, you can choose this indicator as user specific. So in this option of using it as a user specific, you don't need to follow this naming with a /. So I can just go on continue. So then it accepts. It says that the layout has been created. So now you go to the manage layouts and see this is my user default layout. Okay. So I just activated the default setting by selecting this particular icon. So it says that I have just changed it and you would like to save the changes. Yes. Okay. Now it says that this has been moved to the standard layout. So the default setting has been activated, and now I am going to save this. Done. So if I come out of this transaction, and here under this layout, I would like to have my user specific layout, this one. So this user specific layout has been selected here, which is to display the output, and my selection criteria that you see here in the selection screen should always be the same. Okay, and now I'm going to save this. So this particular change or this particular selection of parameters will be called as a variant. So in this variant, we are using a layout which is user specific, and I'm also using a few selection parameters. So this total combination of the layout and the selection parameters are called as a variant. So now if I click on save, this is going to create a variant. So let's say I'm going to create a variant as demo underscore user variant. Okay. And then save it. So now the variant has been saved. So now if I go back to the initial screen and again run COOIS, you don't have that variant coming out by default, right? Why? Because I have not selected that to be a default variant, but I have chosen the layout to be as a variant, as a user defined layout, right? So this is going to be a user specific layout, so it is always defaulted over here. So now if you want to bring that particular variant into this, now go to this option on the header menu, click on go to variants and then display or maybe get. So I'll choose get, created by the user, and you see we have this variant called upon by clicking that particular option. So now click on save. So now it is asking for again to provide a particular name. So if you would like to have a variant that always will be defaulted whenever you log into this transaction. So it means that whenever a particular user is going to run this report, he should have his own variant and the layout predefined in the initial screen itself. So you don't want to select your variant manually. For that reason, you can save the name of this variant with u underscore. So u underscore will be the prefix, and then it goes, it will be followed with a variant name. So I'm going to save it. So this is the output. So now you know how to create the layout, and now you know how to create, to modify the combinations of the fields that you see in the output of this layout. And the next step is to basically send this report to the mailbox in the SAP, or it could be an external mail out of SAP. So let's say you have a requirement from your boss or your customer saying that at every day at a specific time, I need to see the list of WIP or a list of open production orders that are lying in this particular manufacturing plant or specific to a set of materials. So he would like to know the total production orders that are open at that particular point of time. So how do you send it to the person who requested that? So it is not that the user is going to log into this report and then take a dump into Excel by exporting into a spreadsheet, but you want SAP to send this report to the user. So let's see how to create that. So before we go into that, we have a prerequisite to create a subscription list. So for that, we go to the transaction SBWP. Transaction, we typically see the inbox details of the messages, the workflows that have been created or maybe triggered from SAP. So here you have an option to basically create a distribution list. So now I click on this option, the distribution list, and now choose the type of the distribution list as a private or a shared distribution list. So I'll choose it as a private distribution list. And what is the name of it? So it is demo underscore user, and the title is let's say the open production orders. This would be my title. And then go to your private distribution list, click on create, and you will have the name, you'll have the title, and also the sensitivity as standard, and then the folder as private folders. So here in the attributes you have this information, and if you go into the distribution list content, you have the type of recipient. So let's say you have it as a user ID in the SAP. So he would like to see this in the SAP itself, in the inbox of the business workplace. So I'm going to choose the type as SAP logon name. But if you'd like to use an external email ID, then you can use the appropriate option, something like a remote mail address, or it could be an external address. Okay, so here I'll choose a SAP logon name. So, and the recipient would be my user ID. It is demo USR. This is my recipient, and the type is SAP logon name. Okay, it should be as demo USR. That's my user ID. So now click on save. So the distribution list open production orders, it has been created. So we created the list who should receive this particular report. So the next thing is to schedule a background job. So here once you come back of that distribution list, you will also see more details of it, like what is the distribution list and what is the who is the user that is going to receive this particular open production orders report. So now we have to assign this to a particular background job that we will go into SM36 to create a background job. So here I'm going to type it as open production orders, and then the next step is basically to specify the above program name. So how do you see the above program name? You go to the transaction, click on system, and then click on status. So here you will see the program name. So here is the program name, PPIO underscore entry. So go back to this and just paste the program, and after that you are going to choose the variant, right? We have created the variant earlier, so choose it from the drop down. So here my variant is u underscore demo user, so I'm going to use this. This is my variant, and then check save. Okay, so now go back one step, and the next thing is that you have to specify the frequency of this background job. And along with that, one more thing is that you have to provide the details of your spool list recipient. So click on the spool list recipient and do a drop down of the recipient. You have these options if it is like an internal user or a distribution list. So we created a distribution list, right? So I'm going to select this option, and then I'm going to find it. So here we have the distribution list created as demo underscore user as a private folder. Now continue and then copy. So you have the spool list recipient added as your demo user. The next thing is to schedule this background job, and also to define the frequency of how often should this background job be executed, on a daily basis or should it be on a specific period. So if it is like a specific period, then you select this option here, click on immediate. So then you will have this more options at the bottom. There you can specify the periodic value. So if you choose this periodic job and then the periodic values, so this screen, this pop-up appears where you can choose hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, or any specific period. So I need this on a daily basis. So I choose this option, daily, and then save, and then the period values is okay, this is fine. And now the date and time. So when do you want to have this job to start? On what date? Should it start from today itself on a specific time, or should it start from tomorrow or a specific time? So if you don't have this information, you can just click on immediate and then the periodic job. So the scheduled date and time, I'm going to mention it as the current date, and the time, let's say 21 hours 11 minutes, or maybe I will choose it as let's say, yeah, let's keep it 21 hours 13 minutes. Okay, so it means that this job runs after this particular day on this specific time on a daily basis. Okay, now click on save. So now the job has been set with the status as released. So what is the system time now? Let's take a look. So the system time is 21:09. Let me refresh. Now it is 21:13, which means that the job has already started. So let's go into the details of that. We can see that in SM37 transaction. So now you can see that the job has been completed with the status as finished. So we have a spool list also generated. So what we expect to see here is that this particular job should be, I mean, the output should be sent to a particular recipient list in the SBWP, right? So let me go to SBWP. So this is the business workplace, and I should receive an output. So you see this here, right? So this is the email that has been generated for the open production orders. So just click on this and it takes you to the screen of, this is the output of the report, right? The COOIS. In the same way, you can actually send this directly into the mail ID of the recipient into an external email. So that depends on what output types are you choosing while creating the distribution list. Okay. So in the same way, the report COOIS can be used for the planned orders as well. So if I just go by this planned order selection and then continue, okay, it is asking me to enter at least one criteria. So I'll use this production planned 1000 and then execute. So now you will see the list of the planned orders only, not the production orders, right? Why? Because we are going through the other option of choosing the planned orders instead of a production order. Okay, so that is how this reporting of the production orders and the planned orders can be used as part of the standard SAP.